This isn't a war about one man. His people actually believe.
I have to say that I agree with John on this one.
You are making a mistake, sir.
There's simply too much risk.
Someday this administration will be remembered for the risks it didn't take.
Having snagged historic Emmy glory with season 1 of The Handmaid's Tale last year, Hulu is clearly aiming now for more of the prestige same with the debut of The Looming Tower tomorrow. Premiering just days before the Oscars bestow big screen glory on its nominees, the legendary television 10-episode limited series based on Lawrence Wright's 2006 Pulitzer Prize winner, The Looming Tower, Al-Qaeda, and the Road to 9/11, and led by a magnificent Jeff Daniels and Peter Sarsgaard, should already be considered a contender.
Bin Laden has made these threats before, but this time he put a time cap on it, saying that whatever violence awaits will occur within the next few weeks.
What I need you for is to figure out what happens next, so we can stop it.
Detailing the ignorance and arrogance of many in power in the late 1990s and the bureaucratic battles between the counterterrorism units of the FBI and the CIA that saw clear warning signs of a devastating terror attack simply slip through the cracks. The Looming Tower is as marvelous as its newsroom and the killing alum's leading men. The first overt American effort in many ways on either the big or small screen to successfully seize the shock and blow of what happened on September 11, 2001, and how the world afterwards just seemed to burn. The Looming Tower is simply not to be missed from when Hulu drops the Alex Gibney directed opener and 2 more episodes on February 28th, and then follows with a new episode every week. Now, as readers of Wright's book know, this is a tale that we all know the terrible end of, sort of. As 19 maniacs flew hijacked U.S. airliners into Manhattan's World Trade Center over 17 years ago and shattered the illusion of peace and prosperity that had skinned the decade immediately following the Soviet Union's collapse and the end of the Cold War. With almost 3,000 people killed by the attacks orchestrated by Osama bin Laden, 9/11 changed our country and the world, and instituted a massive and wide-ranging security clampdown to prevent a reoccurrence of such terrorism, and began numerous military American interventions around the globe. Starting in a time when Monica Lewinsky's dresses and Bill Clinton's asinine behavior were more the focus of Washington, D.C. than threats to the nation from enemies abroad, Looming Tower focuses on the hard-drinking, social climbing, and incredibly well-dressed John O'Neill, played by Emmy winner Daniels, who heads the FBI's NYC counterterrorism office as he becomes increasingly convinced that a much larger repeat of the 1993 attack on the World Trade Center is in the planning, and as he rails against an administration and a let the good times roll mindset that essentially turns a deaf ear to the threats that we now know were very real.
You got a stash of intel that you refuse to share with my agents.
You don't know how many people might be endangered by being privy to information that you are not cleared for.
With the 1990s now trendy again, there are numerous points of nostalgia in the wonderfully designed The Looming Tower for the era that catch the wind. But it is the lost opportunities and now clearly trivial motivations of an American empire that believed the 21st century would belong to them the way the 20th century had that impact, as does the reality that having left the Bureau himself, O'Neill himself was killed in 9/11 in the opening weeks of his new job as head of security for the WTC. In a country and a world forever scarred by what happened that day in 2001, and still reeling from the geopolitical, legislative, and cultural fallout with a body count of consequences that continues to rise, Hulu's The Looming Tower is not just very good television. It is important television that unveils much of how we got to where we are today. So watch it.